Okay, hello everybody, welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot. So today's reading is a Black Cat Tarot reading. This isn't my idea, I actually got it from yohumans.com, but essentially it's Black Cat themed, so we're going to have a Black Cat spread on the board, and we've got some Black Cat cards and just cat cards in general to go along with the reading. And of course there's a really big air of mystery around black cats. They're very misunderstood, they've all got very unique personalities, so essentially this reading is all about who you truly are, the true version of yourself. So today's reading is a pick-a-pile reading, and actually what I want you to do is pick a card you feel most intuitively drawn to, and we'll reveal the cat that you have underneath that card. Okay, so go ahead and pick your card and I'll flip it over now. So for pile 1, you have a pink heart crystal that I don't remember the name of, and you have this cat as your cat. Okay, pile 2, you have a purple cat's eye heart, and this is your cat. Okay, pile 3, you have a pink tourmaline heart, and this is your cat. And pile 4, you have a mini jade heart, and this is your cat. Okay, so now that you have picked your pile, let's dive straight into the reading. Okay, hello my pile ones, welcome to your reading. So this was your pink crystal heart, which we'll place over here, along with your cat card. Okay, and let's get into your reading today. So firstly, I wanted to get into 2 oracle cards that I pre-pulled for you, just as a little pre-message to this reading. So it doesn't have to inform your reading, but it is just something a little extra for you to take away from today. So firstly, we have See Your Magic. And then the second oracle card we have for you today was this one, which is Cats in Mythology. So you can pause the video to read, but essentially it talks about where the 9 lives idea came from, the fact that cats were really worshipped and protected, and essentially the mystery around cats. So it's interesting because we've got this kind of, how powerful cats are. They were worshipped, they were protected, they got that 9 lives luck, and then you've also got See Your Own Magic. So I think there's something quite powerful about you, about who you are as a person. I think you might be someone who has a lot of luck on their side, or maybe you tend to have lives that repeat time and time again. So maybe you often find yourself getting reborn and you have past lives and future lives and things. But you're also a very important person, especially with the number 4 there, but also with the worship imagery as well, and something to be protected. So I think you're a very valuable person, but also very important as well. So firstly, we need a card for how you try to present yourself to the world. So this way you can kind of see if that's correct. Okay, so this is like the head of the cat. So that's why it's going here. Okay, but we have the Hermit card first of all. So I think the way you try to present yourself to the world is, I think you're quite introverted. I don't really think you're trying to present yourself in any kind of way. I actually think there's some sort of blockage from you shining to the world and showing them who you are. You're presenting as not you, essentially. You're kind of, you're a little bit to yourself. You keep yourself to yourself. You're a little bit introverted. I think it's more than that. It almost feels like when you do try and be yourself, when you do try and shine out and show off your personality, you get a lot of, weird looks or criticism or judgment, and that's kind of made you go inward. So it's actually, you're struggling to put yourself out there. We have the High Priestess in reverse for how the world sees you, the people you interact with day to day, how they kind of view you. Interesting, I think, to add really quickly to the other card before we get into this one, I also think you try and prove yourself to people. You try and prove hey, I'm intelligent, hey, I'm interesting. but you struggle with that blockage, so it kind of prevents it from like coming out and coming across. And for that reason, the way that people see you is kind of as an open and closed book. Like they think they've seen it all. They're like, yep, that's who you are, I know who you are. There's not much to it. Like, they're not seeing the true you. They don't think there's any mystery around you. They don't think there's anything deeper they need to know. Like, they almost think they've seen it all, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, they've seen the surface. It's almost like people don't have a clear understanding of who you truly are. The way that those close to you see you, we have the Tower in reverse. Interesting. Okay. I feel like with the Tower in reverse there, by the way, these are the cat legs. But I feel like with the Tower in reverse, you're a very like peaceful, calm person, very zen, very easy to talk to, very approachable, very reachable in a sense. Like, they know they could come to you with anything, there would be no judgment there. They know that you're like a safe space and that you would always be very welcoming or supportive, and you'd also offer up your resources if you could, like where you can. So like if someone really needed a place to stay, you would be like, come stay with me, it's cool, you know. They see you as very easygoing, very mellow, very kind and considerate. So that's how those who do get to get close to you see you. You've had very big energies so far. Okay. This is how you see yourself. You have the Page of Cups. I think you see yourself, here's the cat tail now coming in. I think you see yourself as like very goofy. Like, you feel like you always seem to be getting into situations that like are only written about in books or only shown in movies. Like, I just saw, for example, on TikTok, this girl was like, I don't even know, she was in a lift with her friends and she was doing like trying to do a split. And she couldn't do it, and then she got stuck, and then the lift doors opened. And she's just like booty first to this open lift door with people waiting to get inside the lift. It's stuff like that. Like, you always feel like stuff happens to you where it's like, this shit only happens in a movie, man. Like, it's so embarrassing. You feel like you're always like kind of making mistakes, but in a way where you're building character, okay? You're building experiences. It's a fun, good time. Like, it's not like mistakes that you deeply regret. It actually just brings a lot of joy to your life, these kind of mistakes. I also think you see yourself as a bit of a romantic or someone who would like love and kind of looks more on the bright side of things and tries to find the fun in life, tries to find the joy. Ooh, the essence of who you actually are. We have the Hierophant in reverse, which is so interesting because that's very similar in a sense to the High Priestess, which is how the outer world who don't know you see you. So there's a little bit of truth in the way that the real like outer world sees you, like how strangers see you, should I say. There's a little bit of truth there in your true nature because we have the Hierophant in reverse. I think you're someone who is the true essence of you, very open. You wear your heart on your sleeve, you don't hide things, you're a truth teller, you know, you're a seer. You expose the truth with the little torch there as well. You're not someone who lies or manipulates or tries to, you know, warp a situation to benefit you. You tell the truth, you do things ethically, and you stand by your morals. And I think this is something that not only the outer world can see, but it's also a truth within you. Okay, how to free yourself to be your authentic self. So we have the Page of Wands. And there's our cat, guys. That's the head, that's the body, that's the tail, and these are the legs from the side, okay? Okay, so in order to kind of like free yourself, because there's a little bit of you is kind of you get a little bit stuck in the kind of like struggling to show your true self, shine bright, show who you are. You get a bit stuck behind shyness, worry of perception, worry of judgment. So firstly, here's a couple things you can do with the Page of Wands in order to free yourself to be yourself. You can look on the bright side of things and look at things from a you can't lose perspective. You know, if you do make that joke, if you do say that thing that's on your mind, what's the worst that can happen, you know? Like, go for it. Start being you, start putting yourself out there, and if people don't like it, again, accept that as positive news, accept that as, oh, that's good, because now I know you're not into that, so maybe we're just not aligned, and I'm going to focus on my attention on other people, other friends, or, whoever. The second thing you can do is try and make a lot of plans where you're putting yourself out there. So, for example, go and do something a little bit out of your comfort zone. If there's a hobby you really wanted to try that you've not tried yet, give it a go. Go and do it. Go see what happens. If you want to go out for do a day activity, almost like a date by yourself, and kind of go and do things on your own, and you're a little bit nervous because you don't want to be perceived doing things alone, go do it. Go do it and see what happens, So make exciting plans, do things that take you out of your comfort zone. Also, communicate, okay? Call bitches, reach out to people, send those text messages, be the first to reach out, be the first to text, put yourself out there, okay? Put yourself on the map with the people in your life. And also reinvest in your passions, whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you joy. Engaging in that will really enrich your life and bring out your true colours. So that was your reading today, part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you chose the cat here, that is the only orange cat that we have, and it says be independent. And then you also chose the purple cat's eye heart. So let's pop that there with your cat. And before we get into the reading, I pulled some oracle cards just as a little extra something for you. It's not really to inform your reading, it's just something extra for you to have in this reading today. Just a few daily messages for you, basically. So first of all, we have be well rested. So it's important to take care of yourself, alright? Then we also have Scorpio. And I can hold it here so you can pause that and read the rest if you want. But essentially it just tells you more about Scorpios. The fact that, sometimes they're hard to work with. Sometimes, they don't like a lot of people. They like the one person they like, and that's basically it. But they are very loyal with that person. They're very independent. They like their alone time, but trust, they love and are loyal to you. So that's the energy of a Scorpio. So that was the message it was kind of saying. So essentially right now, you need to tap into a little bit of that Scorpio energy, have a lot of love and loyalty to those you care about, but also make space and time for yourself. Be well rested, take time out that's just yours, just for you. So that was just a little extra message on the side of your reading today. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So I'm going to be creating a cat as with the spread as I go through the cards, so you'll see it, materialize. But for your first card, we have how you present yourself to the world. Oh my god, guys. The card that came out for you is the exact same one as pile 1, but in reverse, so we have the Hermit. Okay, that changes it though, because it's in reverse. So, the way you present yourself to the world is that you're this bubbly, extroverted, I'm here, there and everywhere kind of energy, when actually maybe internally you don't feel like what you're feeling on the inside is reflecting what you're expressing on the outside. You're very flashy, shining bright, showing people this version of yourself that almost feels a little bit like a mask or a little bit fake, and maybe sometimes you're bragging about certain things or saying life is going better than it is, rather than putting the truth out there, because the truth can be awkward sometimes, it can be uncomfortable, so there's a little bit of resistance to that. So the way you present yourself to the outside world is that you're doing amazing, everything's great, you're here for them, you guys can have fun, have a great time, even if maybe you're not feeling so good on the inside all the time. Sometimes you're like, oh, I just want my space, my peace, but then you're like, no, I have to socialise. And you don't have to, you can say you need your space, your peace. You can be like, oh, I've got plans tonight, and the plans are just you staying in with a takeaway. You don't have to always be there for others and always be this intensely positive, looking on the bright side energy if that's not what you're feeling. Okay, so let's see how the outer world sees you. So these are strangers, people who first meet you, that kind of thing. So we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this is like the head and this is one of the legs. Okay. Okay, I think to the outside world you are kind of giving carbon copy a little bit, just because if you are trying to pretend to be this version of yourself that you're not, and you're like, oh, let me pretend to be this type of person, and you're modelling yourself after that person, then it's gonna be samey, you know, because you're not being authentic, you're not being you. So because you're not leading with your authentic light, it's giving inauthentic a little bit. And then also it's kind of giving that, it gives away that there's some sort of like deeper insecurity within yourself if you're not presenting how you want to. And so I think that's coming through, that there's some sort of like mental blockage to you being your authentic self. And I think that's very obvious to the strangers around you. In terms of the personal, like, people in your life who know you, know who you are, your close friends, close family, that kind of thing, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. The way your close friends and family see you then, I think if you don't have like a passion that you're actively pursuing, a hobby you're interested in, or even someone to fixate over a little bit, if you're kind of in that limbo stage where you don't really have anything you're interested in doing or interested in like talking about, discussing, you tend to withdraw almost and not participate in the world a little bit. Like, you tend to not really have much motivation. You need to have like a passion in order to be motivated. That's how they see you, as someone who like needs to have a drive, needs to have a purpose in order to drive, you know? Because if you don't have that, if you don't have that end goal, that end desire, then you're kind of like, what's the point? And you don't put as much effort into things anymore. So they see you as someone who is very like driven given the right circumstances, and also very like paused if you're not given anything to drive for. I also think they see you as someone who is a little bit lost with who they want to be in this world, is a little bit lost on where to go, what actions to take, who they want to be, what they want to do, where they want to see themselves in, you know, 5, 10, 15 years. You're not seen as someone with a plan, you're more seen as someone who wings it and is kind of just going with the flow and seeing where life takes them. They see you as someone with so much potential, like so much creative potential, so much potential for their future. If only you knew how to apply it, or if only you invested your efforts and time. Because I think at the minute, based on these cards, you're a little bit of like a party animal, a little bit. Okay, you delay things, you're like, let me go out and be social and I'll do that report on Monday or whatever, and then you postpone it and you postpone it and you postpone it. And I think with just a little bit more direction and a little bit more structure, your friends and family would be able to see in you the true passion and drive that you have, and you using your potential, you actually accessing and tapping into that potential that you have. How you see yourself. So you have the Four of Wands here for how you see yourself. You see yourself as very lovable. You're like, what isn't there to like about me? I don't get it. Like, I'm being the perfect person. I'm portraying myself how everyone likes. I think you see yourself as someone who can adapt to each personality type and give them what they're looking for. And I think as well, you feel very calm and stable. Even if others don't see it, who cares what they see? You see yourself as stable. You see yourself as calm rather than, you know, inactive or paused. You see yourself as calm, going with the flow, taking it, you know, how it is. And you do also see yourself as someone who very much does indulge in like the celebrations of life. Like, if there's a reason to celebrate, you'll take it and you'll do it. Like, if there's a reason to be happy and cheer, like, you'll do it and you'll get involved because that's what's important to you. So you focus your life on what's important to you. That's how you see yourself. Okay, so the essence of how you see yourself, we have the Page of Wands. The essence of who you are is a joyous, happy person. You want to enjoy life. You want to enjoy all the luxuries in life, all the good things that come with it. And that might be where a little bit of that like bragginess was kind of coming from as well, because you want to be someone who indulges, you want to be someone who has all these resources and luxuries. Like, why not? And I think that is a part of your true essence, is that you're here to have fun, you're here to enjoy, to invest in those luxuries, you know. And why not? Why can't you? So the true essence of who you are is someone who has fun, but at times that can also be at the expense of others, because when you think of like a cat, what would their favourite thing to do? It would be to hunt a bird, right? Not so great for the bird, but really fun for the cat. So I think as well, a little bit of you is a little bit of this like ruthlessness where you don't mind stepping on toes to get what you want, kind of like that Scorpio energy we had in the beginning. A part of your true nature is not worrying about the consequences too much and just going for the goal. Okay, so how to free yourself to be who you truly are. How to free yourself to be yourself. So we have the 9 of Bowls here, which is the 9 of Cups. Okay, so here's your cat. That's the head, that's the body, that's the tail, that's the feet. The ways that you can kind of free yourself is, one, you definitely have to start narrowing in on what your dreams are. You know, if you feel like you really want something, if there's something that brings you joy, your dream is going to be underneath that. Even if you don't know what your dream is, you can find it by following what makes you happy. Once you have that dream, once you know what it is, you can treat it like the compass to everything you do in life, which will bring you fulfillment. So let's say, for example, like you want to write a book. I'm going with that because that's my dream. If I can actually write it, bloody hell. But let's say that was your dream, right? But you didn't know it was your dream, but you loved reading. So the advice would be to start exploring that by reading a lot. As you're reading and you're thinking, I could write that better, you realise your dream is to write a book. And then you're like, okay, my dream is to write a book. Let me invest all my energy and effort into that. And now you have your compass. And what do you start doing? You start writing, you start researching, you start marketing, you start looking up ways to self-publish or hybrid publish or traditional publish, whichever's your preference. And you start moving towards that. And then when you achieve that goal of publishing the book, you have the success that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel like you get to indulge in the luxuries of life. So that's how you free yourself to be yourself, is actually, instead of faking achievements or pretending you have the achievements you want in life, actually go and achieve your achievements. Actually go and find what you truly want and go after that. And once you've pursued that and once you've obtained that, you will feel fulfilled. There won't need to be this kind of like false mask or this bragging. You can just be honest and be like, I've achieved this. I'm successful, you know, and lead with that. And then you can also feel happy because you pursued what meant something to you. So that is how you free yourself to be yourself, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 3s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the cat with lavender and you also chose the pink tourmaline heart, which we'll place over there. And also, before we get into your reading, I did actually pull some oracle cards for you, just as like a little extra something for you to take from the reading, kind of like a daily tarot card, but it's kind of irrelevant to the reading. It's just like for you to know. So firstly, we have Libra. So that was the zodiac sign energy that came out for you. So it could be that right now it would be really good to find some balance, and some peace and harmony in your life. And then you also have, don't be afraid of falling, you'll land on all fours. Yeah, so like balance will support you. Balance will keep you, give you structure and keep you, you know, safe in all your endeavours. So long as you're balanced and your life has structure, everything you go for won't be risky, you know? It will pay off. Okay, so as we go through your reading, the spread will eventually reveal a cat-like shape. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. So first, let's ask how you present yourself to the world. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. I think the way you present yourself is that you try and almost convey this sense that you don't have as many burdens as you do. Like, you're like, no, everything's fine at home, or, yep, life's good, I'm not too busy, I'm not overworked or anything, and, you know, there's not too much going on. Even if that's not the truth, you try and almost present that everything's good, and that you don't have as many responsibilities on your plate as you do, and that you're not burnt out even if you are. Like, you don't want people to know if you're struggling, because it's almost like you don't want to burden them with it. Even though that wouldn't be the case, you wouldn't be burdening them, but it can feel that way when you're like being honest about what's going on. I also think you try and portray yourself as someone who is very boundaried. As someone who is strong, you want to be seen as strong, can't be messed with, nothing can bring me down. I make the rules, I set the boundaries. I am the gatekeeper to what wreaks havoc in my life. That's how you try and present yourself to the world. This is how the outer world sees you, so strangers, things like that. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. I think strangers tend to see a side of you where it's almost like they can see exactly how your life is like based on what you're presenting to them. I think they see the truth beyond what you're presenting, and I think they can see in you that maybe you have a need for support, a need for community, a need for someone to take some sort of weight off of your shoulders. There's like a need to have help so that you don't burn out, and I think that's how they see you, as someone who is essentially crying for help with like, can someone please like help me out, do something, like take this extra responsibility or burden off my back. They see you as someone who puts too much on themselves, who puts a lot of strain, who's kind of a worker bee in a sense. And this is how those close to you see you. So we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I think those close to you, like your family and friends, they can see that you're not satisfied with life, that maybe things are a bit of a struggle or a burden on you, and they view it as you not putting your efforts or your eggs into the right basket. You know, they see it as if you just change the way you were looking at things, or what the goal is, or if you just changed what it is you wanted, you could get the life you're looking for. Like, they see it as like such an easy change or switch up you could make by acknowledging some responsibilities out there are not yours to deal with. They wish you kind of took more pride in yourself and that you were kind of more ready and eager to celebrate your accomplishments as and when they do happen. Because it's almost like you don't even allow yourself to pause and celebrate, because it's like, okay, now on to the next thing. They want to see you put time and effort into yourself to be reliable for yourself. And they want to see you find something you're passionate about, because they see you as a really passionate person, but you're directing it in the wrong way. Like, all of that worker bee energy, that go, let's not stop, let's not rest, that's passion, you know, but only if it could be directed into something else that made you happy. That's what your friends and family want to see. Okay, how you see yourself. You have the Six of Pentacles. So you see yourself as a very generous person, someone who's always giving and always there for others, who always basically provides acts of service for others. You're there, you're available. You make sure everyone else's cup is full, everyone's belly is full. You may even think that you're happy with your lot in life at times, and you feel good about what you have and what you've accomplished. Mostly in the sense of what you've accomplished for others, how your generosity has helped others and supported them. You see yourself as someone who's always like paying it forward, or, you know, showing acts of kindness, showing acts of gratitude where you can. And I think a tiny part of you hopes that one day others will show it back to you in the same way, with the same effort that you have for them. Okay, the essence of who you are, we have the Eight of Cups. The essence of who you are is someone who is really adaptable, who can change based on what they're interested in and redirect their energy and go after what they want. You know, if the energy gets stale, you're like, cool, this isn't the right space for me, and you move on to the next thing. However, when it does become stale and stagnant and you're stuck in one place for too long, that's when the burnout comes. That's when it doesn't feel right. And I think what tends to happen is you do tend to get stuck because you are doubtful that you can accomplish the things that are very readily available to you. It's more like your experience in this world has made you very doubtful of yourself and what you're capable of and what you can achieve. But the truth is, you know, the truth of your essence is that you can accomplish anything you want. That's why you were given adaptability. That's why you were given such relentless go-getter energy. It was so you could adapt to change what road you go down based on what you're interested in at the time. That's the true essence of who you are. So let's see, what can you do to set yourself free? How can you free yourself to be your authentic self? Okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles, lots of like pentacle energy. Okay, so that's like the cat's head, the body, the tail, the tootsies. You can see it, you can see the vision, it's coming together. Okay, so in order to be your true self, to set you free to be who you are, you have to commit to your visions. You have to commit to your focus on what rewards you want in life, what your goals are. You have to commit to that, because that will bring you so much life satisfaction, so much life fulfillment, so much joy. And you have to do things your way as well. I think, if you keep doing it other people's way, if they could have their way, you would be serving them forever. You could be doing things for them forever. But you need to do things your way. You can't live your life by somebody else. You have to be the one to rule it, and that's what makes you happy. And another thing is to also keep moving forward without stopping. Like, if you're moving forward and you're falling out of sync with something, hop to the next thing, because it's not right for you. If you're not vibing with something, go to the next thing that piques your interest. So always be ready and eager to switch up and adapt based on what you feel is your fuel, what you feel is driving you. Be your own leader and have a singular focus on the goals you want to achieve in life and the things you want to accomplish. And go after those. Be very driven towards those. Put all of that relentless, I'm not going to stop anytime soon energy into yourself. So that is what I see for you, pile 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my pile 4s. Welcome to your reading. So you chose this black cat and the little jade heart, so we'll pop those over there. And also I got you some oracle cards. They're not actually going to relate to your reading, it's just a little something extra for you, kind of like a card of the day, if you will. But firstly we had the zodiac sign of Gemini, so like Gemini energy right now. There might be a call for your life right now for there to be harmony, structure, balance, or for you to honour 2 versions of yourself as well. And then we also have Heal with Love. Okay, so that was a message that you needed to hear today. So let's pop that over there. And let's get straight into your cards. So the spread is a cat spread, so it will start to look like a cat, or it will hopefully eventually look like one at the end of the reading. So how do you present yourself to the world? You have the 5 of Wands in reverse. The way you present yourself to the world is that you're like a diplomat. Like, you try and take the peaceful road or the high road. You try and make things work harmoniously. You try and find solutions to things. You present yourself as kind of a team player. Like, you like to socialise, be in groups, be with others. Your aim is to be social and support the community. And you want to be in a world that is fair, balanced, equal, where everybody gets everything that they deserve and everybody gets the same kind of rewards. And I think as well, if you're like not getting along with somebody, rather than like kind of dig deep into it and kind of escalate it, you're kind of like, okay, agree to disagree, or okay, that's your opinion, but this is mine. Like, you're just kind of like not entertaining it. You try and go for the more peaceful option of, let's end this here, Okay, so let's see how like strangers see you, how like people meet you when they first how people see you when they first kind of meet you. So we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. I think the way you come across initially is like manipulative, because I think a lot of times when you're a really good person and you have good intentions, maybe it comes across as people pleaser energy, because they automatically assume like if you're in a good mood and good spirits all the time, there must be a level of fakeness there, like it must be something deeper below the surface. And there might be, your true feelings. Maybe you are annoyed at certain situations, but maybe you like to keep it to yourself because you don't want to show that to anybody, and that's absolutely fine. But I think what is coming across to others is that maybe you're a little bit manipulative, and maybe you're someone who also seeks drama as well, like with the always getting involved to settle things and relax things and create ease tensions. To others it comes across as you wanting to get involved or be dramatic and get the first-hand drama from the scene, straight from the crime scene, alright, to go and gossip with other people. They also I think they see you as someone who's quite jealous of others. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but of course that's an undertone of the Knight of Cups. But I'm not sure what behaviour of yours that's coming from. But they do see you as kind of a jealous drama queen who maybe can be a little bit manipulative or not quite what they seem on the surface. Like a little bit of a dark horse, or like you're pretending to be someone you're not. Okay, so now let's see how those closest to you see you. So this is your friends, your family. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. Okay, so they see you as a very capable person, first of all. I think you've matured, okay, and that's how they see you. They see you as wise, mature, responsible, someone who has grown into their potential. They see you as someone who is able to stay calm in the face of adversity, stay calm in the face of challenges. You're not like someone who would get, really hurt by someone's opinion of you, because it's almost like, okay, that's their opinion, which they're entitled to. Like, you kind of have this really mature approach to it, where you're like, and their opinion is none of my business. It doesn't change who you are, doesn't change the truth, it doesn't change how you're going to behave. It's just their opinion. It's just what they think, and it doesn't have a big impact on you. So they see you as really mature, they see you as very responsible, someone who's very sensible, who has grown up to be a really solid, stable person. Let's see now how you see yourself. We have the King of Wands in reverse. Cute. Okay. I think you're surprised to hear how your family think of you, because to you it's almost like you don't feel that confident, and you're like, really? Like, they think I'm responsible and like capable? Because for you kind of feel like a fish out of water. You're kind of like, what do I do now? Like, you don't feel like you're the person who should be leading your life, because at times it feels like you don't know what road to go down or what you're doing or what choices you're making. But the point is, you're doing it, you're leading, you're ruling your life, and that's the key to keeping it going and being that confident kind of leader. I think you feel inactive, or almost like your thoughts are dictated by others in a sense, because you're looking to others for advice, but that's not the case, because you're making the decisions, So I think you feel more insecure in this spotlight as someone who is capable, who is leading, who is the king. You don't feel like that. You feel more like a joker than a king, even though that's not true. But that's kind of how you see yourself. The true essence of who you are is the 10 of Coins. The true essence of who you are is that you make your reality what it is. You're someone who puts a lot of effort into their successes. They're really worth celebrating, It's not like you were just lucky or in the right place at the right time or had the right connections. No, you worked hard for the accomplishments, the achievements that you have. You worked hard to win in life. You put a lot of thought and dedication into things. You're a very thoughtful person, and you're destined to feel true fulfillment in this lifetime, to feel complete and whole. With the 10 of Pentacles there, you're supposed to feel very connected, very loved, very respected. You're supposed to feel all those things so that you can go on and be generous with those things as well, and bring affection to others and receive affection. You're supposed to have good connections with others, good relationships, because you're a thoughtful person who does care about others and cares about the impact they have on the world, and you care about your connections with people. Okay, so how do you set yourself free to be who you truly are? How do you free yourself to be yourself? We have the King of Swords. In order to be who you truly are, you need to start having a more structured life with more balance, more harmony, more routine, more of a regime. So you need to kind of get structured about where you want your life to go, who you want to be surrounded by, that kind of thing. Because that will help you with your inner compass as well. I think you're already halfway there. Like, you've got such a great attitude. You're so mature, you're already leading your own life, and you've already got great emotional maturity where you're like, I don't really care about that opinion, or, that's yours and that's mine. Like, you've already got such a great approach to things, so throwing in more structure and regime and order into your life will just help to keep you grounded. On top of that, just leading with logic and integrity as well. I think if you always rely on the truth of the matter, if you always kind of stick to the facts, and if you always lead with your morals, things will work out, and the people who view you a certain way, that's their problem, you know? So I think that's how you should be yourself, is just by leading with integrity, you know, your logic, and having a more structured life. But that is what I see for you, pole 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot.